it's really not a straightforward business. Like there's been a lot of copycats trying to kind of do what I did, and they haven't really worked out. I was kind of just, right place, right time, right messaging, caught lightning in a bottle a little bit. I wanted to learn how to use no-code tools. I've always been really interested in kind of entrepreneurship and that type of world, but I was never kind of brought up as a developer. And so I was just kind of like fiddling around with these tools, and I found one that interacted in an interesting way with with a backend database and then presents the data back to you. And I was just kind of trying to think of what was a good use case for this that people might use. Like it was never intended to be a full business. It was really just kind of like, what is going to get any user through the door? And then I was spending all this time on Reddit and Fishbowl, as a frustrated accountant does. And, there's always these compensation threads time and time again. And, people will reference a previous one. The data gets all jumbled up. It's all lost. It's all non-standard. And I just kind of was like, guys, there's a better way to do this. And so I built this, which kind of the whole mechanism behind it makes sure everything is fully anonymized and then collects everything in a database and presents it back to you in a nice, clean, very accountant friendly type of manner. And we all know how to kind of sort through data and filter and stuff like that. And so that was the format, and it caught on in the early days. Like I logged in, there were a couple hundred people concurrently in the Google Docs that I had built all at once. And I was like, wow, okay, people really like this. And so I kept on just kind of maintaining it for a couple of years. And then eventually there started to be so much data there that I had firms reaching out being like, hey man, like you're really not presenting this in a way that's very user friendly for us. And we would like to be able to use this to kind of refine our own comp strategies. And that's where it was all born. So that's where, I built out kind of dashboards and stuff like that to make it very user friendly for the firms.
Yeah. I can see, I get asked all the time, like what's an appropriate salary for this position or that? And they do run the gamut though, right? You do see a lot of variation in what comp is. And I guess it varies based on geography and that as well.
Yeah. And as time's gone by, we've kind of like managed to get a better, handle on what some of those variances are. And so we've kind of like split things up a lot by streams, where it's like, if you want to look at a large sample size and just get an idea at a glance, you can kind of bunch audit, tax, and CAS salaries. They're going to be in the same kind of neighborhood. And then, things like consulting, risk, financial advisory, and stuff like that are kind of in their own bucket. Whereas you don't want to mix the two because there's a big spread. And then we broke out all of the geographies across the US. Shout out to AI deep research tools for helping with this. But we broke everything out into 4 categories. So low cost of labor, medium cost, high cost, and then very high cost.
Nice.
Which simplifies. Or you can just look in your specific city as well.